Guys, welcome to the next, I don't remember exactly how many, but the next episode of the Voluntarily Engaged podcast. With me today is my wonderful guest, and potentially I'd almost just call you a co-host at this point, Tyler.
Hi, my name is Tyler Braniff, and I'm an alcoholic.
You're a wonderful
Oh.
person.
Wrong class.
Or do you want a beer as well?
Well,
Here.
this is going to end well. Would you like some whiskey to go with your beer?
Let's not. All right.
So much for drinking iced tea.
It's really great. All right.
I found who needs the third camera.
Right. Welcome.
The plate of bacon
back.
and the Jameson.
Welcome back to New England.
Thank you.
So I haven't seen you
Oh,
back.
tasty.
What?
So that's tasty.
I like this stuff.
Not bad.
And currently they have one of those things where you snap your receipt and get a rebate.
Oh, yeah.
And this time I'm actually going to do it. But I like this stuff. Shed Mountain Ale. It's good. Here, can I try this a little bit?
It's delicious.
You're a bad influence on me.
Gives you superpowers. Don't worry about it.
I feel horny already.
Right?
All right. So, here, have a piece of bacon. Bacon's good.
Hell yeah.
Hey, anybody who knows any good bacon sponsors, we can definitely make something happen off of this. This is Tyler's idea, not mine. Not taking credit for it.
Bacon is excellent.
Mm.
So many good things come from bacon.
Mm. Like not living in the Middle East.
Anti-terror, that's a good start. Fatty acids, probably the wrong ones, but
Listen, it prevents hypothermia.
are you covering yourself in bacon?
No, just
Does it?
eating enough bacon. Listen, there was only one side that was freezing to death during the Korean War, and that was the Chinese, not the Americans.
All right.
One side had more bacon.
Improves your eyesight.
Bacon are not freezing to death.
Not freezing to death. Bacon definitely doesn't help your eyesight.
All right, but cool. So, where have you been? Because I have purposefully not done a whole lot of catching up with you, because I wanted to talk to you about that here.
So during the winter, I had picked up active orders to stay warm in Mississippi.
How unfortunate.
Right. So I went to what they call a builder's C school, and it's an advanced building class for Seabees down in Mississippi.
Because you're a Seabee.
Yes. So we put shit together and then ripped it apart. And most of the time we weren't at work. And I got a great tan.
That was my first comment.
There's like everybody
As soon as you got out of the car.
What were you guys doing? I was like, nothing. Literally was the best ever because we could get all of our work done in most of the day, like earlier on in the day.
Mm-hmm.
So the afternoons you like had a time to actually do stuff. That's what I was saying earlier to you. It's like it's insane where we have like a job and then another job and like continue doing stuff. When you're on active orders, it's like you got one job. And when it comes to an end, those guys don't have anything to do. So you get to live like that for a little while, which is pretty sweet.
So you guys were real construction workers. You get done as fast as you can.
Only on certain days. Like there's obviously classroom days because there is a curriculum and everything.
Mm-hmm.
But there are days where they'll come up and they'll be like, hey, you guys can leave when it's done. And everybody puts together some teamwork, which I guess another team building activity. And we just get it done. Lunchtime, we're out of there. Lunchtime in the military is at 10:50 in the morning.
It's close enough.
Yeah, I'm down.
What was the physical activity for it? Were you guys doing a lot of strenuous work, or was there a lot of?
So I wouldn't say it's strenuous. It's but literally we go through every aspect of building. So you start them with like your concrete,
Mm-hmm.
Blocks, so cinder blocks and everything. You get into framing, staircases, rafters, all the way through siding, windows.
Really?
Interior finish, so we're doing sheetrock, putting doors in, crown molding, cabinet building. Way too much in 4 months for like anybody to really learn anything.
Mm-hmm.
Not to learn anything, but to like become an actual like specialist in one of those things.
Mm-hmm.
But it is definitely a lot of like, it's a good chance to get like a, what do you call it? It's like a trade school basically. So you get your hands on everything before you can get into the business, which is pretty cool. So a lot of guys coming out with a little bit more experience than they had going in.
Would you say that going forward, it sounds like if you had to pick an MOS in the military across all branches, it sounds like a Seabee would probably set you up to be the, like, you know how the smartest thing to do is not to get a military specific MOS, because it gives you something to go back on afterwards when you're a civilian.
Yeah, so that's one of the things you find with a few of the branches, where that's harder to find in the Army and Marines. But when you go to Navy and Air Force, they have specialties that actually do apply to civilian life.
Mm-hmm.
So
even like cybersecurity and stuff nowadays.
Yeah. So like, depending on what you're going in for, Seabee right now, everybody's going to a trade school right now because this college thing didn't work out too well.
Mm-hmm.
And if you were a Seabee and you joined when you were 17, by the time you're 22, you have 5 years experience, been to 2 different schools, have diplomas in construction.
You've been paid the whole time.
You've been paid the whole time, never paid to go to school. You could get out. Yeah, it's going to take you about 3 years to catch up what civilians are doing, but I mean, then you're 25 as a contractor.
I wouldn't even say 3 years. I mean, as long as you've got your head in a relatively straight direction.
I'd say it depends on the person. As like the younger generation is a little bit special. I don't want to offend anybody or hurt anybody's feelings for that sake.
The younger generation doesn't have feelings.
There's
they're false facts.
They're false facts, yeah. It's like if they busted their asses, yeah, they'd get on their feet right away.
Mm-hmm.
But the way I see it is they'd have a lot of catching up to do on how hard a civilian that is like in construction actually has to work to even get started.
Yep.
So it wouldn't be the knowledge they have, it'd just be the work ethics have to check out.
Yeah.
And honestly, our class leader was a younger dude. They were trying to like move him up and everything. And he was like going forward. And that guy, yeah, if he was going to get out, he would know exactly what to do at this point, because he's got like his head on his shoulders correctly. He's willing to take leadership roles and he's willing to go out and explore what's going on. And I'm like, I'd love to see that for somebody like that.
How old would you say he was? Like mid-20s?
Not even. Some of these guys
Really?
were young. So like we go through one builder school whenever we get in. It's a school. It's really just briefly touching on every subject that I had said before there. And these guys have no experience. You're talking like 17, 18 years old, all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Now they've had, like, to go to this school, they've had like, whatever, 2-3 extra years. They've been deployed. They came back. They've worked with other units and stuff. Like they know what's going on. Now they send them to this school to develop a little more. So some of these guys are still super young.
Mm.
I mean, you see some older guys, but mainly these kids, they're kids. They're on their first contract. They're less than 5 years in.
You do plumbing as a CV as well?
No, there's actually different. So it's just a building part for us. We have plumbers though.
Okay.
It's a different rate. So plumbing and electricity is 2 different rates, and then building is 1.
Did you imagine you learn to plumb in the Navy? You get certified to plumb in the Navy. You get paid the entire time you're there. And then you can just charge an outrageous amount of money whenever you friggin' show up to anybody's house.
If you were smart, you could pull that off.
Okay. So tip to anybody who wants to join the military, don't go infantry. Just go straight with an MOS that has a direct civilian equivalent, and you can be totally fine. Like,
Definitely
absolutely
recommended.
Fine.
Everybody goes in think like they're gonna have the coolest combat job or something. It's like, okay, now like you broke your knee or something. It's like, so you're useless. Mm-hmm. You're like, oh, well, I'm gonna get out. Everybody's gonna want me. Nobody wants you. It's like, it's brutal.
Mm-mm.
So unless you have a trade or if you have a job or something, like you said, that lots of IT or like intelligence guys, yeah, fine, they get a job when they get out. But I know a lot of guys that I work with, like even this group that I was just with today, the idea was actually using people's military skills that they couldn't use outside of the military because they've gotten out now,
Mm-hmm.
and finding a way to apply them to real life.
That sounds like a pretty smart setup.
I think it's a great thing, especially now where people are going back into like the trades. Like these guys got everything.
But the major push that I'm seeing is, especially over the last like 10 years, if you look at the curve of machinery replacing human jobs,
Yep.
it's just growing. It's growing fast. And even now there are programs like AI. AI is getting stupid.
It's getting good.
Even 3 years ago, 3 years from now, and now, it's gonna be crazy different. Like nowadays, you can get into ChatGPT and prompt questions that would have otherwise taken just hours of research. You can create images, you can create videos, you can. It's getting nuts.
This weekend we're using it to create scenarios.
Really?
Yep. So it would write scripts, so you could just have like an idea of what would be a good scenario for that situation. So we did. The guy that I was working with, he's like, "Hey, I got this other app," and basically it's not ChatGPT, it's another one. I'll have to.
Is it like a medically driven one?
No, it takes in like several things into play. Like if it's like a notebook, and if you had like separate sections to your notebook, it can like make a combination and do its research off of like what you've been studying
Mm-hmm.
to get its information. So it gets like even more accurate than ChatGPT when you just put the information in. It knows what you've been doing.
That's pretty crazy. I actually use ChatGPT myself for a lot of the channel content. Not that I write off of it, but I ask ChatGPT for talking points on different things that I'm going over to make sure that I didn't leave anything out.
Yep.
Well,
this other one, it'll listen to the conversations like we were doing this today, and then it will script this conversation.
I want to try that.
And to pick it'll take out the talking points as like notes going forward.
Yeah.
So that whenever you do, like you're saying with ChatGPT, it'll add that into the process. So it's a never stopping flow. So that that there's actually supposed to be other things to talk about. This is what happened last time. This is what the continuation should be.
You imagine, where that was, where that is now, and where that's going to be. It's not so much ChatGPT for creators. I know a lot of other creators are using AI. Like,
yeah, just about everybody uses AI for something.
Right. And if you don't use it, it's because you don't know how to use it.
Yes.
Because it is so immensely helpful. But the thing is machine learning is fast replacing people. It's making a 10-person team be able to whittle down to 2 or 3 that can do the same work capacity as a 10-person team.
Yeah, but that's the good part about trades and anything physical is
you can't do that.
You can't do that.
Right.
At this point, we still need a human brain for that one.
Right. Well, you need human brains, human
muscle,
arms.
Yeah.
You're almost going to have maintenance, main machine operators, management, salespeople, and everybody else is just going to, at some point, maybe not get completely phased out, but there's going to be a reduction in workforce because of how well machines are able to replace humans. And they don't get hurt, and they don't call out, and they don't complain. Sometimes they don't work, but
right.
But that's why you get the maintenance guy, and that's why the operators need to be cognizant of the little quirks about all the machines.
Yep.
But I mean, you look at 3D printing, you look at computer programming, you look at content creation. you look at, general research reporting, it's getting to be almost scary if you're not willing to accept and utilize it.
Well, that's the thing. If you're willing to be on top of it, accept it, and utilize it,
Mm-hmm.
then you're pretty much all set. I mean, I can't see it replacing anything that I've ever done.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm kind of glad now. I think back in the day, everybody made fun of me. Oh, you do construction. I'm going to school to be a computer programmer. But you mean jobless at your mom's house? But I live in my mom's house. I hate when that doesn't work out. Even I make fun of me. God damn it.
That was too well placed.
I couldn't let myself out of it. Morally, I had to make fun of me.
Oh, man. Military humility. Military humility. Actually, I would even say that's not military humility, because I find that a lot of soldiers have a tough time really poking fun at themselves. Especially NCOs have a tough time kind of breaking that perfectionism mold.
Hold your horses, bro. NCO sitting over here.
Oh, I'm sorry, Sarge.
No, because I'm the one that will make fun of myself.
Oh, man.
Yeah, some of those guys, that's like a reach for them. That's like they've gotten to that, and that's like they hide behind their rank.
Mm-hmm.
That's a pain in the ass in the military. A lot of guys do that. Because I don't know if it's whether they've been made fun of, or they never achieved anything in life, or because I call them gay whenever I see them. It's probably because I call them gay. But but they hide behind.
They're in the Navy.
I'm a chief. I'm like, it doesn't change the fact you boned that dude.
Did you cuddle?
You're right. Did you stop holding hands? You're on duty. God damn it.
If I can't drink on duty,
you can't hold hands on duty. They'd let me drink. I swear to God, you haven't seen any of these bitches.
Oh, man. That's funny. See, that's why I miss having you around. You want to hold hands?
Right. In our next video, we'll be cuddling. Whispering things in each other's ears.
Oh, my God. Over this weekend, you ran your first medical courses. Or your first medical courses as Tyler Breniff medical training.
Yeah, so about that, I was totally winging that. I needed to get some courses out there on the internet, and I didn't have any way of doing it because I was in Mississippi. So for the moment, I just created that page, and I was like, all right, we're just going to put these classes on it because I'm not going to have time to do it. And apparently it kind of worked out. And now they're like, oh, well, since you did that, like, can you continue to promote it? It's like, I didn't want to put a bunch of stuff on there and start getting followers
without having content.
Yeah.
Okay.
I wanted to actually look like a real person and everything, and I kind of just wung it. I put my name, medical training.
Wung, is that a past tense of wing?
Wang it.
I wanged it.
Well, I was gonna wang it, but Facebook took that post down. No.
I didn't understand.
So I decided to wong it. And since it was Chinese, they couldn't be racist about it and left it up. But
I knew a Legionnaire named Wang.
Wang?
Yeah.
Do I know Wang or
Chinese. Worked at the kitchen.
They all worked at the kitchen, dude. They were Chinese. Yeah, anyways, I just put that up there, and they're like, well, you should keep it and use it to promote other stuff. So we took pictures this weekend and everything. He's like, we got to get some more content.
That's
put it
awesome.
out there, and we'll run events based off of that.
Cool.
So,
oh, that's good. We are definitely going to be incorporating some of your devices and toys and whatnot into some of the videos, because I would love to do the exercise that we talked about that we're going to be doing on the 22nd with that pump that you showed me.
oh, dude, yes. Well,
Like, actually put the tourniquet on. And honestly, tourniquet's going to hurt. Whatever. I'll volunteer to be the guy that has the tourniquet on the leg. Like, whatever. Just put it on, because I mean, you've been through the Legion's military training. Okay.
Oh,
You know that it's just like, whatever, tighten it down, make like a half loop with the, what do you call it?
Windlass.
With the windlass.
Yeah.
Just to kind of
Make it look like you did it.
make it look like you did it, but you don't actually do anything. Okay. I can tell you that under stress, my pristine moment of do shit the way that you're supposed to came from when I was, in training, and you're a little bit sleep deprived and whatnot. Okay. I had my cell phone in one of my magazine pouches.
Oh, no.
All right. Well,
that fits.
that works totally fine.
Seriously.
All right. Until you're sleep deprived.
Yeah.
And you're using blank ammunition, so it's a false raid, and you're like rolling out of your sleeping bag and pop, 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 pop. Okay. Well, at some point, run out of ammunition. Okay. And so at that point, I had gotten out of my. At that point, I had this only happened once, and I learned. Okay, but I had on that exercise. I had gotten out of my bag, gotten out of my tent, and I took up my position. And then when it came time for me to do an emergency reload, because there was more blank rounds going off around me, and just kind of shooting and countering whatever was coming our way, I went to reload and drop my magazine with the FAMAS, and I pick up what's in the magazine pouch as my phone, and I stuck my phone in the gun.
That's a good one.
But it's one of those, like, that's why you train, because you learn that when you're under real stress conditions and you're wet, you're tired, you've been out there for 2 weeks, miserable, well, you work off of habit.
Yeah.
And if that habit is pull the thing from your mag pouch and put it in your gun,
totally makes sense.
Doesn't really matter what it is. I was like, oh, this is a really thin magazine.
Yeah, I could definitely see that happening, though.
I did it. I did it.
When we're overseas, that's one of the things when we're looking into, like people's packs and stuff, because people eventually, like, they start to slack on things and be going out and it's actually going to be something important.
Mm.
So, yeah, like, we check everybody's medical bag because they're filled with snacks. So if you were to go out with, like, some of these guys, like, in Africa, you'd get out there, run into a situation and be like, give me the medical bag. Empty granola bar wrappers. Fuck. Like, they lose half their shit.
The best pouch that you can have for snacks is a dump pouch, because you never take anything out of the dump pouch in an emergency. You only put things in it.
There we go.
That's it. That and if you can't put your hands in your pockets because you're in the military,
put them in your dump pouch.
You put your hand in your dump pouch.
That does not sound gay at all. No, not even a little.
It's not somebody else's dump pouch. Just go back to back, dump pouch, dump pouch. Oh, well, you're a lefty, so you'd have to find a lefty. No, that's what I found. The dump pouch was really great for storing extra stuff, because it was never something that you tried to draw anything from in an emergency.
See, I only used one a couple of times, and I was like, nope. I'm over it.
A dump pouch?
Yeah.
You're weird.
Why?
Because dump pouches are great. You can put anything in them. You can put gloves in them. You can put stickers in them. You put your hands in it and it's not a pocket.
Nah, I can't do it. I don't know. I don't like dump. That's too much shit. Extra stuff. No need.
Okay.
Personal opinion.
Well, the other thing is now you're working on an American military budget, whereas when I was using my dump pouch, I was working on a French military personal budget.
Oh,
I don't want to lose
Starbucks.
We have the coffee machine, guys.
Right?
What are you pouring that weird little crack pouch out into the canteen?
No, you know what? I would do anything to change back to taking what the French army takes with them and get rid of what the American army, American military takes with them.
Really?
Yep.
How so?
Can't do this in the American military.
But you can in the French.
At breakfast, and people will just join you. There's like no problem. If hey, you got whiskey over here? It'd be like, oh shit, going on restriction. Over there, it'd be like, I need a sip. You got to like hide it just so that people don't want to drink it with you.
Mm-hmm. I understand that. Yeah, that's very true. The American military is very, very against alcohol on deployments. How are they on the equivalent of terrain? What would you call that?
Nothing.
Nothing.
It's you can't do anything. Anytime you're misunderstanding. If you are on duty, you are not allowed alcohol.
Mm-hmm. And see, that's why soldiers get in trouble afterwards. Because they binge.
Yes, that's actually not false too.
Right?
But like we're in the doing terrain and stuff. I never had a problem. I was never shit faced. Like we're doing the 4-day, 5-day exercises. So you do like your 2 weeks or your 1 week, and then an exercise, or your 2 weeks and then an exercise, whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the whole exercise, you're freezing your ass off in the north of France. Everybody's sipping on something. Then nobody cares. Nobody's shit faced. I mean, you do got a few Russians, but
the exceptions.
They were already shit faced. Like, what are they gonna?
They were born that way. No, but that's a very interesting parallel between the American military and the French military. I didn't think about that, but it's a tough line to draw when you don't run out of bullets or you don't run out of booze. Like,
right. That is true.
Which one do you prefer?
I don't know. I'm a pretty good shot, so
I'll take the booze.
I'll take the booze because I only need so many bullets.
Hey, speaking of good shots, all right. So the upcoming shoot that we've got on the 22nd, we have you, who was, what was your job in the French military, in the Foreign Legion?
Sharpshooter.
All right. And then we've got Andre, or I'll bleep out his name. I'll remember to do that afterwards. But he was a sharpshooter.
Yep.
And then we have, I'll call him JL. JL was, I might have told you this, he was in second rep, he was a sharpshooter, and he got out of the Legion in 89.
Yeah, he's got a few years on us.
I want to talk to him, but like I was born after that.
I don't know, I wasn't. I was already alive.
Yeah, barely.
5 years.
Oh. You're older than me. It seems like there is a large concentration of foreign legionnaires that are Americans that are all put into a weapon-specific role because they shoot really well.
So what I've noticed, this has to do with Americans, Germans, and some of like the Slovak community, the Czech, seem to be there. Croatian, some of the Croatians too. And it all seems to be like a lot, like that's what you're mainly sharpshooters were in the Legion. Like it doesn't stray far.
Nope. And it's pretty much universal.
But it makes sense.
When you grow up with it, and
you grow up with it, but then you got to take into play like mental capacity and like your stableness. Like whenever you're thinking about us on the we're schooled and disciplined at a younger age and a little more than some of these other countries.
Yep.
Back in the day we used to be stable. Nowadays we don't know what gender.
Are you a boy?
There's the same way with like the Germans and everything. Like when you think about it, it's like it takes like a calm mentality, like a certain person to do that for a job. And then it takes a certain amount of like mental capacity to do that for a job. And that works in like medical training. It works in like competency and shooting and tactical stuff, but it really doesn't apply to anything else.
Right.
That kind of sucks.
I mean, your first military experience was in the French Foreign Legion. Yeah. So was mine. And I know both of us can vouch for the fact that Nobody in there was thinking like, oh, I wonder, I've been in here for 6 months. I wonder what I'm going to do when I get out.
Yeah, no.
Nobody's thinking that. Absolutely nobody is thinking that. You know why? It's because we're all retards.
Right? I was going to say the only thing the best job anybody got on their way out was an alcoholic. Like, that was...
I have a diploma.
Certified drunk. Yeah, it kind of sucks for some of those guys, but...
Well, at the same time, I've never seen so many guys re-sign for the military than the guys who were insistent on getting out. But they didn't put any money away. They, everybody just gets your big head syndrome of, I'm going to get out, I'm going to be totally desirable in whatever civilian job. Except for, I would say, finishing that thought first, and then they get to the end of the contract and realize that they have absolutely no money, and they realize they have absolutely no plan, and they're like, okay, well, I guess I'll stay another 2 years.
Yep.
2 years later, same thing happens. Oh, well, I can make corporal chef if I sign on for another 3. Okay, go for that.
And they're just floating it out.
And then
it's too late then.
By the end of their life, they're like, sign me on for another 2 years.
No, it's the same. I see a lot of the Marines, a lot of infantry guys and everything. Even a lot of like the special forces community. That doesn't even translate into anything. You can be as special as you want in the military.
Everybody's special.
Right? But it doesn't matter how intelligent you are, like how smart you are. You have no skill that applies to anything on the outside.
The only thing that I would definitely say is, because I work in a civilian environment, is you are expected to have a certain work ethic having been in the military. That definitely, because like I've interviewed and hired people for my team who were in the military.
Yes, so a certain discipline and resilience that does come with it.
Ideally.
Yeah.
It doesn't always come with it. And I can tell you that.
Oh, yeah, I know.
But it definitely gives you the opportunity to set yourself aside. Like, for me, the first question that I've had on applications or interviews was, you were in the French Foreign Legion. Like, it immediately sets you apart as like, hey, this guy's done something that other people don't do. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
But I saw it on Wikipedia, and now I want to learn about it. That's how a lot of my civilian interviews have gone. But one of the biggest positive aspects that people can draw from the military is leadership capabilities. Now, again, that's up to the individual, because I've known some great leaders in the military, and I've known some awful leaders in the military.
Yeah.
However, you have the opportunity in the military to attain and refine leadership skills that are really essential for you not hating your life your entire time in.
Yeah.
Especially if you get promoted. I was promoted to corporal pretty quickly. I had a lot of shit to figure out pretty fast.
Yeah, you see, I was first class for a very long time.
You had everything all figured out. But I would also say there's a large percentage of guys from the Foreign Legion that become private contractors.
There are.
A large percentage.
What it sets you apart. What I've noticed is it's almost like the mystique end of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it's hard for guys to get started because as a Legionnaire, you're not from like England or America. Mm-hmm. So like there's this security clearance boundary that you'd have to get past if you want any good jobs. Especially
in Europe, because depending on where you're applying for this, the securities are all different.
Yeah.
All the checks and whatnot.
The good paying jobs are mainly American. So, and then they also require a skill set and a level that people think the Legion has.
Not even close.
And it's like, no, the Legion has that on a physical level. Mainly these guys plan to be contractors. Yeah, they're muscly, they're fast as hell, and they can walk in a straight line and shoot a gun. That ends there. That's like all there was to that person, is what I find in a lot of cases.
Mm-hmm.
Afterwards, it's again on that person to learn these skill sets that are necessary to go further in these things and learn how to network and use their intelligence to get further. And I see a lot of guys overseas that, yeah, it does. Like, who was it? Junior, the other, yeah.
Oh man, he's into like MMA. He's a beast.
He's gone everywhere with that. And it's like, yeah, the Legion was a stepping stone into it. What was that one that like overthrew Guinea or whatever?
I don't know who it is, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, that shit's fucking, like, there's some of these guys, like, they apply themselves. If you use it, it works.
I don't think he did that for private security contracts.
No, but I'm just saying, like that's what he did.
But yeah, Junior, he's
killing it.
Oh yeah, we have 60 people at our work facility. I think he could kill every single one of them with his hands.
No, he's insane in that sense. Like, it's like pro boxing, pro MMA. He did a total. I won't talk about that, everything else done, but everything he's done is like, dude, that's insane. He like loves his family. He's very happy with what he's doing.
He's also been like a DJ. He's done all kinds of stuff.
He did the guys nonstop. We're actually talking about that today because we're thinking I got to make a stop in Kenya, and when we were talking about something that we're gonna do based off of the situations in Kenya with like working with Rangers.
Yeah,
I had told my buddy a while back. I was like, hey, I know this dude that worked in like a few other aspects in that area, but he's in Ivory Coast, and he's got his own foundation and everything. He's all set up, ex-Legionnaire. So we're talking about actually going there. I talked to him a while back. I was like, we got to bring our program to where you guys are. Do some scenario-based training with them. And he's like, yeah, okay. And then this year, my buddy was like, yeah, like, we got to make a stop. Ivory Coast. He's like, yeah, man. Like, I might actually go see him.
That would be so crazy.
I'd definitely film that. I would definitely make him sit down. He speaks English anyways.
There's recently been, I don't know exactly where it started, but there's been a thing out on the internet of like, could 100 men take one gorilla?
Oh.
And I was just, the first time I thought, I was like, I know a gorilla.
Right? He works with gorillas, literally. Right? It's not even a joke. I've seen him with gorillas.
It's like the Chuck Norris of gorillas. No, he's such a good dude. He's such a good dude. I would love to see him again, and just talk to him. But like I've seen him mad as well, and
yeah, I could imagine.
Takes a platoon.
Right. No, when I see him start fighting and everything.
But no, he's such a good dude.
But yeah,
such a good dude. And there was another one who's a lot smaller than him. I didn't do any like boxing MMA around him or whatever, but I did wrestle in high school, and I wasn't really that great, but there were people that I would roll with occasionally in the Legion.
Yeah.
And I was never a big fitness dude, but I knew how to roll. I knew how to throw what I had, and I surprised a couple of guys. But man, remember Derek, blur his name out, because that was his actual name. But I couldn't touch him. I couldn't touch him. He was so strong and just like so good at it. And it was funny because I was rolling with him and he was just like complimenting me the whole time. But
so you're doing good, Pretzel.
Torquing me. It's like I can't touch you. Like, stop telling me I'm doing a good job. But he was really, really good. Some of the guys that we met were such fantastic athletes, dude.
Yeah, that was
disciplined in various martial arts, because wrestling is a martial art. I consider it a martial art. I have used it in a street fight before, so it is a martial art.
But I find it's more than that. Like, I think when I think martial arts, I think like karate or
it's because it's flashy.
Yeah, but then it's like, no, these guys, these aren't just martial artists. They're like skilled at doing things. Not saying martial artists aren't skilled at doing things.
Right.
but you can taekwondo kick yourself in the air and it'd be useless as shit too.
But
These
if you
guys like
shoot the guy at 300 meters and
right. Yeah, those guys knew like real like fighting skills.
man, the Legion, you just met some of the coolest guys ever. And the worst guys
I was
ever.
gonna say I met some dickheads. There was a lot of dickheads.
I've met some people that were genuinely evil folk.
Yep.
Like I knew an American who said that he joined the Legion because he wanted to work for the cartel afterwards.
I'd like to fight the cartel just for fun.
Oh man, that would be great.
If I can find a way, dude.
Just waiting for the what's it called? A letter of marque. What a letter of marque is, right?
A letter of marque.
A letter of marque was when back in the day, 1700s, 1800s, when the governments did not necessarily have funding to make navies, they would write a letter of marque, which was basically an authorization on the government's behalf to be a pirate.
All right, yeah.
And you were doing it in the name of your government, but it was like contracting for pirates.
All right, I'm gonna have to talk to my government because
Well, you work for them.
I know, and I make a great pirate. I'm permanently drunk. It's like,
and you're in the Navy.
right. They will remind me that your part of the Navy doesn't do boats.
Like
please stop showing up to work drunk.
If I go to the wall and I start building the wall, and then I go out on QL,
right? What the fuck?
But I
QL?
lost my direction.
No, we're not coming to get you.
That's all right. I don't need you.
I'd be calling up the French.
Oh man! All right, what else we got? The Hearing Protection Act.
What? Sorry.
Has caught me off guard on that one. The Hearing Protection Act.
I've been waiting all night for it.
Hearing Protection Act has been passed through the House of Representatives. Okay, so the next step for it to be passed is Congress. And apparently Congress is going to be meeting on the Hearing Protection Act at the end of the month, or towards the end of the month, was what I read. I would imagine there's going to be a little bit of deliberation. Man, I hope that stays, because I am a big fan of the possibilities of the Hearing Protection Act.
I don't see what's wrong with it.
I understand that because it's a part of the NFA, and a lot of people don't understand what's wrong with the NFA. Which realistically, I mean, the reason the NFA came about was because police were getting outgunned by gangsters who had much bigger firearms budgets than they did. So
it's not even close to being a thing anymore.
No. Like modern day, that is absolutely irrelevant. That is 100% irrelevant, and that's one of the biggest arguments for it. Is that technology is in a totally different place than it was. With that, you've got AR-15s are super modular. With a couple of really basic wrenches, you can assemble something that would have been unfathomable in the 1930s when it was written. But even up until like the 60s, 70s, and 80s, like nowadays, the gun world is totally different. Technology has come so much farther. And I mean, cars have regulations on how loud their mufflers can be.
Yeah, but you don't want to
They
stop
have
a gun
a
from being loud.
maximum, right? And one of the big arguments is that if firearms were developed now, if guns were developed now, they would have to have a suppressor in order to be more hearing safe and less of a nuisance to anybody around them. And silencers are pretty easy to make.
Yeah, and I think everybody talks about a silencer, like the pew pew you hear in a movie.
Yep.
they never have made that noise ever.
No.
They make a very loud bang.
It's just a less loud bang.
Yes, it's just not going to blow your ears off. Like, that's the thing with an AR. It's like, it's loud as shit. You could dull it a little bit to the point where you probably still have ear protection in, though.
Mm-hmm.
It's not to the point where you're silent.
Mm-hmm.
There's very few weapons and very particular like firearms that can get to the point where it brings the sound down to like you can't hear it that far away.
Yep. The only gun that I've shot that was really hearing safe when suppressed was a 300 Blackout subsonic.
Well, that's it. You go
that thing
subsonic.
Was nuts. That thing was just absolutely nuts.
Subsonic closed bolt.
The Hearing Protection Act got put on to the one big beautiful bill, the budget reconciliation. I don't remember the acronym of what short means, but it's basically an advocacy for short-barreled rifles. Short-barreled rifles, I argue, are a lot more safe than pistols because you have a shoulder stock. Like, collateral damage from missing a target. It's a very real thing.
But yeah, so I get that. But what's the reason for short barrel rifles being illegal? Is I don't get that.
Well, in the 20s and 30s, when gangsters were just cutting down guns in order to conceal them under trench coats.
What's that got to do with reality, though?
Not now.
And I know that's what I'm getting to. Is like
I get
very
you.
practical. Like where you're going is like, all right, it's like having a short gun, a pistol, basically, but it's precise. And it's not like, I mean, I don't know what people think. Like, they think people are driving around on the streets with their Mac 10 gangster just letting off rounds because they bought them legally at the store with their name written all the fuck over them.
Oh, of course.
Well, no.
Oh, that's not how that goes?
That's not, no.
I didn't know that.
Against some
Thank you for
knockoff
telling
street
me.
gun and shooting people, that happens, not everywhere. Like, how does that even, like, add up?
You're telling me that everybody who adds 3D printed Glock switches to their Glocks is breaking the law?
Are they?
Technically, yes.
They are? All right. No.
You're creating machine guns.
Yeah, I guess in that sense you are. But what's the point? The people that can do that are not the people shooting people in the streets. This is the thing I always get to with that. The person that can rip apart an AR,
Yep,
put in a super safety, 7-inch barrel, and no stock, with a spring system that is like going to make it into a complete pistol, and putting a friggin' drum mag on that thing, has no interest in breaking the law, to tell you the truth. That, like, most of those people that do something like that, no interest at all in breaking the law. If they had interest in breaking the law, from what they've displayed as skills, you are not creating a law that is stopping that person.
If you don't understand how it works, you don't understand the workarounds. You don't understand, like...
I've been trying to explain this to the FBI ever since I started selling cocaine. There's just... Sorry. My bad.
Well taken.
Court cases have been going on for years and cost me thousands. Damn it.
I'm going to make my lawyer make it more expensive for you. That's good. That's good. Here, I'm going to make more bacon. You want more bacon?
Oh, I always want more bacon.
All right, well, more bacon it is. How long do you think you can talk about something that's cool that you've done before it becomes obsolete or you become annoying?
I feel like that's where they feel like they maxed out in life. Like, people don't move on to the next subject until they've done something either cooler. And once they've totally burnt out, it's always like, well, when I was a Marine, and it like starts with that. But same thing, like whenever you're talking about sports players, like, no, not sports players, people that played sports in high school or college. There's a difference between a sports player. That seems to be what they relate back to. And I'm wondering, is that where they felt they maxed out in life? Was that like the end?
Possibly. What's funny is, like, I know that a lot of my marketing in this channel is based off of me having been in the Foreign Legion and that giving me a rather unique perspective on certain things, which I think is kind of fair. But you know, when I meet somebody new in the streets, it's I don't start talking about, you know, I was in the Foreign Legion unless there's a very good reason to say it, because I still try to do some interesting, cool shit now.
Yeah, because that wasn't like the end.
Mm-hmm.
That was just part of it.
Right. It was a good part of it. I liked it.
Yeah, that makes sense. I like I'll talk to people about being in the Legion, but it's not like
You don't go up and like tap
promote
somebody in the
myself
shoulder
like-
and like, hey, I was in the Foreign Legion.
Yeah, it's like most people will be like, okay, well, say I'm in the Navy.
Yeah.
Then I'll ride with that until somebody's like, why are you talking about this experience if you're saying you're a Navy Seabee? And I'm like, oh, well, way back when I was actually a Legionnaire back in the day, but it's not like the first topic that comes out. Honestly, if I talk about me, like some of my stories would probably be like hanging out with fucking rhinos. Like anytime anybody says anything about like hanging out with cool animals, I'm like, bro, look at me with like an AK and a rhino.
I love that picture that you sent me where it looks like you're yelling at a bunch of rhinos.
Like, dude, literally, like,
hey, get in line.
you thought you were cool, but check out what I did. I'm like, maybe that's my last cool moment in life.
That's where you peaked.
That's where I peaked.
Was
This
with
is
your
the end.
rhinos.
I got a picture with rhinos.
And an AK.
And not gonna lie, it's pretty cool too.
That was a cool picture. That was a very cool picture. And I think we used that as a thumbnail at one point.
Right. Hopefully there'll be another story.
You always got to look for more stories.
Yeah.
You know, I've told Ben when I had Ben on that the way that I like to consider my life is I'm only as good now as I've ever been.
Yeah.
You know, so like I'm not gonna boast about my past experiences. If I can't run, if I can't do push-ups, I can't do pull-ups, then it doesn't matter how many push-ups, pull-ups, and how fast I ran. You know, I still consider myself to be a slow piece of shit because I am a slow piece of shit. I'm a slow runner.
I'm a slow runner.
Right. I can run for a long time, but I don't run very fast.
Yeah.
And that's why I can run for a long time, because it takes me a long time to get there.
Right? It was only 3 miles. 2 days later, but hey, I ran the wrong direction.
We have hit a milestone on the channel. We're getting our first product sent free of charge that we're going to review. It's a rail adapter. I have a light that I need to test, an O light that I need to test.
Yep.
And my favorite gun is my 1911. But my 1911 is just a bare bones GI 1911, doesn't have a rail or anything like that. So I need a way to put it on there. So I reached out to Recover Tactical. Recover Tactical, they have a rail for a 1911. They have a couple of other products as well that are really, really cool, like genuinely cool. I'm not saying that because they sent me something free to test out, but they have stuff that looks really, really sweet. But they have a 1911 rail that screws into it doesn't screw into, it replaces the grip panels.
All right, yeah.
So it's got like a rail section that screws together in the front.
Yeah,
and it's secured to the gun. Yes, secured to the gun via the grip panels, or the screws on the grip panels. Okay, so we are going to test it out with a light. I need to find a laser module for it because I really want to see how it holds 0. And then we have one other test so far. It might not be too practical, but I'm really interested in putting this to the maximum abuse and figuring out just how well it holds up. But they also sent a holster because the holsters that I have, they don't have a way to accommodate the light.
Yes.
So they're sending their holster as well. So we're going to be able to get to test that. Unfortunately, it's a right-handed holster.
It's okay. Nobody's perfect.
But I'm super excited about that. And the big thing is I want to make sure that we set that review aside, because like you see people reviewing gun stuff online, and it's very bland. It's very like, hey, look, this works.
Right?
It's comfortable and it does the job. Me, I want to
Gonna see, they talk
almost
about it like they
intentionally
like
break
it,
it.
yeah. But I would rather, even if I fabricated it, I'd like to see at what point this thing cracks. What does it take? If it takes a lot of shit,
I'm
then
going to be
like,
impressed.
yeah, you're gonna be
I'm going to like
impressed.
it a lot.
When it breaks, it's gonna be something friggin' retarded.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess a lot of people think they should make a review based on like who's sending them shit.
I mean, I'll make a review based off of who's sending shit, but I'm not going to make
Not favor
a
the
judgment of like, oh, hey, we got this for
quality
free.
judgment. Yeah.
Yeah, no. These are made in Israel. I don't know exactly how they're made. I don't believe it's a 3D printing process. I think it's more of an injection mold, which for plastic is totally fine. Or it's like a glass reinforced polymer. So I'm pretty confident in it. But I was going to buy it anyways, and the whole thing was I reached out to them saying I'm going to buy this, but I want to see if I can get like a referral code or anything like that, so that when I do mention it and I send business your way, or not, depending on how that
Right?
goes.
If it just put a light on it, it falls off. Like, well, then never mind.
Right.
That's over.
But I'm super interested in just beating the hell out of this thing, and I think it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a lot of fun because one of the things that I want to do as a part of this is bringing the 1911, because I like the 1911, and I know that a lot of people are gonna Glock is better. I can argue that Glock is objectively better. Yes.
That's not an argument, I don't think.
Okay, well, keep your argument to yourself.
no, that's what I'm saying. Is I don't think we're arguing.
But no, I really like the grip of a 1911, how it feels in the hand. I think it's great. As a shooter gun, as a carry gun, I can definitely see the argument of having a Glock, or like mostly any other single stack, double stack. Other than that, but in any case, I like it. I want to use it, and I want to show how to bring it into a little bit more of a modern capacity. But I have a GI model because I want to be able to shoot the GI model when I want to, and the Recover Tactical mounts via the grip screws, so I can take that whole thing apart really quickly and bring it right back to a GI model if I want to. And the more you can do with fewer serial numbers, the more points you have as an American.
True that.
Mm-hmm. That's why, like, instead of buying a 22, I got the kit for the 1911 to be a 22.
Makes sense. Oh, I still got to change my dad shit over to my name, so I got that other French 22.
A French 22?
Made in France. I don't think it's French. I forget what it was. I think at one point I sent you a picture of it. It's pretty cool. Anyways, we'll have that out. Just shoot stuff. It's fun.
Listen, this is a new channel. We've got a lot of room to do new stuff and fire different things.
We got her.
But we will. Anyways,
yeah, I guess that'll actually be here pretty soon.
Yeah, it's gonna be here when I'm in Jersey. And I'm going to Jersey for work, not for pleasure. Don't worry.
So you're not going to Atlantic City? Or does your wife watch your channel? I know you're not going to Atlantic City. You're going for work.
I am going for work for my day job.
I believe you.
For my day job, yeah.
Yes, that's incredibly believable on camera.
Oh, you know what I had to do?
Changing subjects,
dude. Well, we're going to Jersey, but I got the rental car, and I finished the checks around the outside with the dude, and everything looked kind of fine. Had a quick look on the inside of the car, and everything looked fine initially, but then I went and sat down and I went to put my phone out, and I saw a very particular stain on the passenger seat.
Sorry about that. Was like Hertz rental?
No, Enterprise. I thought it was
Stained
mine.
so many seats of Hertz, they'd have no idea. Those guys.
Snail Trail.
Yes.
You don't have any kids, do you?
Yeah, I left them on their seats.
Oh man, you're fun. But so upcoming in the shoot on the 22nd, that might be one thing that we're probably going to do just a skit for it, and I'll do a full review outside of it. But we'll do the skit that I have in mind, whatever, where we put the bipod on it and treat the 45 like it's a machine gun or a heavy weapon. So did I tell you what I wanted to do with that?
Yes, I was wondering if the product I received today, we could mount that at that time on there.
Oh, the scope.
Yeah.
If I find, do you have a rail that can go from like the bottom of a like a pistol rail on the bottom
to the
top?
Oh, could I come up with something? Hold on, because I got an extra AK one.
But that doesn't mount the same way.
AK. Yeah,
that doesn't mount the same way though.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if I could create a bracket. That's a pain in the ass.
Because like I know there's stuff that we could buy on Amazon and whatnot, but I just don't trust the quality. Like a lot of that stuff's made for airsoft guns.
Yeah, and I have that AK one. I got a bunch of like Picatinny rails and stuff. All different size. I'd have to look through it, or maybe just make something. I'm trying to think of what I got that has that grasp, like the right thing that's going to have like a screw on the side of it. Kind of hard. Like I don't.
Oh, but that would be so funny to put that scope on.
That'd be amazing,
wouldn't it?
I think we can come up with the way. I'd have to see this piece that you got, because it's very it's very
specific.
Particular. Yeah, that's gonna be a particular build to do something like that.
Because you have to put like you have to put a bottom Picatinny mount with a Picatinny mount below it.
So you gotta on the bottom for the what do you call it? For the light, it's Picatinny anyways, right?
So you have to have something that mounts to the Picatinny.
So I'm trying to think of what I got
comes out one side, ideally the left side, because it's not interfering with the ejection.
That's true. I can go over. So I'm trying to think how I could use that AK one. It's probably long enough. If I could just figure out how to make like a separate bolt, how would I do that? I don't know. I think we should come up with something.
We should.
And at least mount one of those scopes, because I don't know if I'm putting that one. That thing's massive. I think I'll put it on my 308. Shit. Semi-automatic 308.
We'd need like at least 7 inches of rail space.
I got
in order for the thing to fit.
But I probably got the what do you call it? The support for it anyways.
Yeah.
It won't take that much. I got those things at home.
Oh man.
Yeah, we gotta come up with a way to put that on
there's gonna be some creativity that happens.
You got a tripod for that thing though?
I don't have a tripod, I just have a bipod.
I mean a tripod, because that thing's gotta be up in the air.
We gotta, if we're gonna go all the way.
Right, yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
These guys don't know what they're getting into. Right? Like it's a fiberglass rail on the bottom of your thing. It's not supposed to be mounted to a vehicle.
Did you see the Jeep I got? Oh, I got an idea, dude. Did you see my rental? They're gonna be like, why is this thing filled with bullet cases?
10-round magazines. Like,
how do we get longer magazines? We gotta make this even better.
ProMag makes a 15-round magazine. And a 15-round magazine single stack is like that big.
That's right. Right. Single stack. That's retarded.
You're like, what the hell? Is that a pocket gun?
So a clamp rail, that can mount onto the middle bracket of my Jeep. You're going to be the door gunner, or well, the roof gunner, with a scope about yay big. Because I took a picture of it next to the chassis, so that you could kind of tell the size of that thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's without the nozzle extension on the end of it. So it's actually bigger than that. It is like
We gotta figure out something. Hey, hang on a second. Hang on. So, what if? All right. See this camera prototype that I'm making?
oh
This
shit.
camera mount prototype. So what if we had like the electrical conduit goes back around me, and then like the 45 is mounted here, and then I can like walk forward like friggin' RoboCop.
Oh, put like a body chassis on it.
Yeah.
So you need a Home Depot body chassis for like a roofer.
I'm not a Mexican. But like I have the bender. We could do a body chassis with friggin' electrical conduit. That would be so cool.
You got like a massive butt plug. I got an idea, dude. Just hold on.
Hear me out.
There's just check that butt plug in with your bender. Have the tube bent out around you, clench that shit with your ass cheeks all day long, just firing rounds.
It's not my ass cheeks, it's my anus.
It'll be tight as shit with the gun in it. There's like,
oh, this feels great.
all right, sorry, too much.
But no, like I got the bender so that I could make stuff like this work. That is going to be. We have some science to do.
That is that science? I guess counts as
science. It's totally science.
Sounds scientific,
right? I'm sure that the bacon's gone.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Yeah. Here we go.
Crispy bacon.
I like crispy bacon. I like all bacon. Unless it's just burnt.
That's burnt bacon.
You know what? Don't eat it if you don't like it.
That's in between. This end's burnt. This end's not burnt.
Healthy average. Anybody who makes bacon, feel free to send it to us.
As long as
we can review it.
Bacon reviews are us.
Hey, quick question, because I think we've covered most of our topics. You a fan of Bond movies?
Like I said, only the new ones. I don't really know the old ones.
Stupid. You should watch the old ones. The old ones are way better.
I hate old movies. You have no idea. Like, I don't even get it. Like, I don't like anything old. I'm basically 25, so it's like, why would I like old things before 2000?
Basically 25. I identify
as 25 and younger. So you old people.
How old were you when you were in the Legion?
Started when I was 23 and ended when I was 28. Not that I was keeping track. Started on March 25th. Started on the 24th and ended on the 26th.
My first day on contract was May 11th, 2010. And then...
Youngin'.
Yeah.
Mine was March 24th.
I was 19.
2008, yeah.
I was 19.
I was 23.
Yeah. So when I met you, you were 26.
And drunk.
Very drunk. Okay. And it was right around Christmas time.
Oh my God, that's right.
Do you remember?
Christmas in the Legion is it's an amazing. I have to talk to people about this. Like, you don't understand. This is like good and bad. Like, there's so many bad things that it's good, and it's good in like so many bad ways. I don't know how to explain that month.
Do you remember? So one time, first Christmas, you came up to me and you were blitzed. And I could tell. And I was still young and very naive. Probably like 20, maybe 21. And you came up to me and you said, you were so smiling and you were so happy. You're like, I want to punch you.
Oh no! My God. Oh shit!
It's like,
Gotta love it.
why? Because listen, I was not a salty old bastard at that point. I'm still not really old, but at that point, it was more like I was still very diplomatic. And so I was like, okay, well, why? You're like, just because. And so I thanked you for not.
Very diplomatic. So I probably would be like,
Let's
"Touche."
go.
Do you want to?
I want to punch me too.
Like, I don't know what to do. Nobody's ever responded like this in the Legion. And I normally get hurt first every time I tell somebody I want to punch them.
It's like, okay, your wish is granted. Go for it. That was one of the first drunk interactions that I had with you. It was so funny. It was so funny. But yeah, definitely. Like if I tell people, like civilians, that story, or even U.S. military personnel, like it was an asshole. I'm like, nah.
It
was just he was he was channeling Santa Claus.
You remember Jozak?
Yes, the Polish guy.
He's not Polish.
Jozak?
Jozak wasn't he Slovakian?
One or the other. I don't. Sometimes they're really like tough to remember exactly.
I remember one Christmas we were in prison.
One Christmas in prison.
We had a good crew this time. Like,
so hang on, real quick before you get in it. When he's talking about prison, he's talking about like being more in the brig, the equivalent of the brig, not like civilian prison.
No, because civilian prison they have like
rules.
Oh my gosh! This place is off the hook. It's almost. It was fun. Like I don't even know how to explain that to people. So imagine a dungeon with like these giant metal. What do you even call those things that like shut like that? Like
grates.
Dragon, like if you're trying to like old prison cell things where you shut like the big
layer
with the massive wooden doors and stuff. That place was retarded with like fencing over the top and barbed wire.
Yeah, but y'all still managed to get out.
Oh yeah, there's so many ways out. Fuck, but
you knew them all.
That place was really like you looked at as a young Legionnaire. If you ever got stuck in there, you'd be like, "Oh my god, what have I done to get here?" After being in there 3 or 4 times, you're like, "Dude, about to have a great fucking week here." And it. So, anyways,
you just garden.
Well, that's it. There's like, it looks like it's gonna be a horrible experience, and they're like
weeds.
So you work out and you go around and like you bring food to everybody else that like in different services and everything. Corporal Chief, he's watching over you and making sure that
you're not getting out of hand.
Yeah. But most of the time it's like, so you got to wake up and work out. Like that's not even an issue. You always did that in Legion. It's almost easier in there.
Yep. Because nobody's busting your ass.
Yeah. But we're in there. It's going to be Christmas time. So we're having to deliver to like all the mess things. Yep. So you got like the officers and you got the chiefs and all that stuff. Obviously, they all need wine. They need good food and stuff. I remember one time we were sitting in prison at the table. We decided we'd all have a meal together like it was our Christmas meal. We have silverware because we stole it all. Our asses are eating what the fucking lieutenants are eating. And we're drinking wine from like big ass glasses. The corporal chef walks in. He looks, he stops, and he like compliments us, turns around and walks out. One of these, like, he's so wanted to be like, everything I see here is wrong, but at the same time, he's like, how have you guys coordinated to pull this off? Because we were moving all the shit around the base. Like, people got to understand, like, we're the people that move this stuff. So we know somebody somewhere, and they're like, get no shit. He's like, like, he did not even know what to say, and he was like, so proud of us. It probably brought like a tear to his eye as he walked away. He's like, those are good Legionnaires right there. But I just remember we were eating with fucking silverware, eating a good meal, drinking a glass of wine. Corporal Chef walks by like, he's like, just walks away. We're like, dude. Day later, amnesty anyways. That was a good part about Christmas. They let us out of prison. People will never understand.
I want to go back.
People will never understand that when you tell people. Because I've told people about stuff like they're like, oh, about his experience. Like, oh, there was rats in my house. It's like, oh, so this one time I was in prison, and was laying in one of the cells, the individual one, because I'd been in a few times already. I was kicked back in the bed, and I had the door open. It's summertime, gets hot as shit over there, anyways. And I woke up in the middle of the night to rats eating the skin off the bottom of my feet. So I took rat cages, caught them, and dipped them in boiling water. You're like, what is wrong with you? I was like, well, they started it.
Just finished the fight.
Good times. Only in the Legion can you have experiences. And that is the sensitive materials place on base?
Yep.
Yep. Doesn't exist. Never happened.
You know what's funny is there have been plenty of reports, and I'm sure that you've seen them. I want to say it was BFM TV that did a report of like a Senegalese Legionnaire who was put in toll, and they were saying like he was all kinds of civil rights violations and shit like that. And he was, man. You know what I really want to do at some point when you have a moment, like a good free moment. I would love for the two of us to sit down and do a reaction video to Legionnaire content.
Yes.
I think that would be so fun. Right?
Yeah. Oh.
Like the dude you get shot in the arm.
Oh shit, I've seen that one so many times, dude. What the fuck? Why are you guys shooting at each other?
Well, I know. I would say it's not really a theory. I have an idea on why stuff like that happens. And it's because they don't give us enough trigger time. So when people who think that they're hot shots, and there are plenty,
they're willing to push the limit, but they don't have the skill set to do it.
Right. Or they don't have the inane respect. Like when you and I are going to be doing the sniper battle,
yeah.
There's going to be no rounds in chamber and no magazine in the gun.
I got flags at home.
Right.
I don't care. You want to throw in a flag just to make sure? Hell yeah.
Because we understand that like it's not enough to just say, oh well, there's not one in the chamber. You know what I mean? Like I want active flags with no magazine in the gun, and when you're ready to take the shot, you call it because you're ready to then load your gun. You know what I mean? But it's like we understand the safety protocol that sure, we're pointing guns at each other, but we are doing under very controlled circumstances.
But there's so many safety checks at that level.
Mm-hmm.
That's like, for a reason, yeah.
The camera guys are there, our spotters are there, and then we're there. Like, and there's 3 safety check levels that are going to happen for that. And so be it. I'm not concerned about it taking a long time or it being a pain in the ass. Like we understand why we're doing that. We understand the whole reason for the safety checks.
I was going to say, I'd rather do that than accidentally shoot somebody and end up in prison for the rest of my life. So I'm not worried about it.
Right, but not Legion prison.
Right? But go
like actual.
All right. Let's break out at night.
Let me out for Christmas. Another subject that we should make for our reaction video is: Did you know the Corporal Chef that was in O'Brien about like I came on as he was processing recruits. He was like a part of the initial drill instructions he got when he was processing recruits. El Diablo.
I don't know if that was his name, but if you're talking about the one that used to be in those videos, yeah, that was he was still around when I was.
He was like the equivalent of Arlie Ermy.
Do
you know who Arlie Ermy is? No. The Marine that was in Full Metal Jacket?
Yes. The drill instructor?
Yes.
Yes. He was good.
Yeah. But Arlie Ermy was an actual character. and he's got like a whole bunch of TV shows and whatnot
Yeah.
afterwards that were really really great. But it was all playing off of his personality. But when I see a Diablo, I don't know his actual name. I just knew that. But he was great.
He was
And-
good.
And another one that I want to do is like Legion lingo, because one
So
of the
much
videos that he
translating.
had was it says it like don't eat chocolate, don't eat sugar, just eat coffee, or drink 2 coffees. And he said sadan la schnuck.
Yeah.
Like, you understand what that means. I don't know what it means, but I understand what it means.
Yeah, but that makes sense to me.
It doesn't. You don't. The Legion is the best because you cannot say a coherent sentence, but everybody understands what you're saying.
Yeah, 'cause you get it when you've heard it a few times. Like even that day, you probably got it because he's
Or
who
even
he
like,
is.
you're just using context clues.
Yeah.
Like, you don't know how to speak French, but they're like,
Oh.
I understand what that dude just said.
No, he was pretty good. I
Schnuck is
remember.
not. I don't know what that
That's
means.
not a French word,
but I know
either.
what it
It's
is.
not- yeah. Saddam a patat. Okay.
Right? It's a potato. Like, it doesn't give you an
It
actual
doesn't
potato.
no, it doesn't. You don't get actual potato. You just fucking go.
Or the banana.
Banana.
That's the best. But we got to show JL a banana, because I'm really curious to know, because I would imagine in like 1900 French Foreign Legion, banane was probably not a phrase. I want to understand, when did that become a phrase?
As long as a banana is upside down, there's more than one reason for him to get it. Because also the Legion thing was called a banana. So it's got to be at one of those points.
What are you talking about, the Legion thing? Like the Grenade and Zepton?
Legion étrangère on your deployment uniforms.
Okay.
That's
yeah, because it's
also
yellow
called
and
a-
it's shaped around.
That's also called the banana. He's got to get it at some point. I think that's got to be old.
I'd be curious to see if JL would have an insight on that.
I bet you.
But he
would
was
know.
also second rep, so we got to assume that he's pretty well inclinated. But he was also head of security at 6 Hour, so I want to figure out, like, birth, very French, why Legion, why United States, how 6 Hour. Like, I think there's a good story that would be great to hear, because he's old Legion and you and I are relatively new Legion.
Yes.
But there's another. I've commented with a dude who said that he was from Massachusetts, and I know it wasn't you, because you don't comment. But there was another dude that commented on another user's profile, on Ian McCollum's profile, Forgotten Weapons, that said that he was a Legionnaire from Massachusetts. And I looked up what I could get of the name, and he lives somewhere near the coast.
Let's find him.
Let's find it. Let's make fun
see
of him.
if he's a real Legionnaire.
Well, that's that more so than anything
If he
is
can,
what I want to find out.
If he can prove, yes, cool, whatever. It is what it is. Come hang out, whatever.
Mm-hmm. Coming out.
I don't know. Fuck, did you say somebody that actually is like, yeah. There's that dude in California still that. So I am Navy.
Yep.
And I'm also a Legionnaire. And I have proven so far to be able to complete both of them.
Yep.
Without being so much as a douchebag.
I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Because we talked about it on the phone.
Yeah. That's pretty fucking bad, dude. Like, that shit's retarded.
Glass wall, man. Glass wall. See right through it. When you've been in it.
I was a Navy SEAL. You were a dude on steroids. Anybody on steroids could be a Navy SEAL. I'm 40, not on steroids, half broken. I could be a Navy SEAL.
Mm-hmm.
I would love to say it's like that's not true. But talking to everybody I know, I'm like, I think if one of us put our mind to it, passing buds would not be that hard. I'm sorry. I feel like Legion mentally puts more of a damage on your brain than physically the Navy ever would.
Mm-hmm.
In that sense. And then he's like, well, I was also a Legionnaire. It's like, no, actually,
If you deserted from 2nd Reg
yes,
in Saint Christophe,
right?
That's
you were
it.
definitely
That's
not
one
a
of the
Legionnaire.
easiest
Like,
regiments.
if you had nothing, like, and he makes like this whole big thing that he was so badass about, and it's like, again, everybody knows because you have said it out loud. The only reason you are who you are today is because the quantity of steroids you've done to this point.
I was thinking about the other day, like, there's a point where apathy can overtake. What is it? How am I trying to say this?
I don't know, because
apathy can overtake accomplishment.
What's apathy?
Apathy is like feeling bad for somebody, or empathy.
That's empathy. All right, okay. I thought that was stupid. It was you that were stupid.
It's okay. We're both stupid.
It's right.
But empathy can overcome accomplishment. You know what I mean? Like, if I say, you should focus more on your family time, doesn't really strike anything, okay? But if I was paraplegic and had cancer and was about to die and said that you should focus more time on your family, then it would be like, man at wit's end about to die said you should focus more time on your family. Empathy trumps accomplishment at a certain point. And I don't know what I'm saying with that.
I'm confused.
So I think we'll close this out. Thank you for tuning in. This has been the Voluntarily Engaged podcast with Tyler and myself, your host, Derek. Had a great time, and hopefully you learned something. Hopefully you enjoyed, and if you're not, then whatever, I don't really care. All right, but tune in for the next one. Maybe you'll be less entertained. All right, have a good night, buddy.
You too.
How you doing on time?
But I really don't care at this point.